Hello there, it's me, Sari here again, and today I'm here to experiment with the Distress Oxide refill ink bottles. I haven't used these yet, so this is just a premiere, just to have a sort of a sense to what they could be like if I were to sort of want to make something with them on a piece of paper. And well, let's see, that was my idea anyway when I ordered these from Scrapbook. Whoops, aj saatat. Some of these are easier than others to shake. There's a shaker, some sort of shaker ball in there, just a mixer ball perhaps I could say, just to mix these up a little. So I've got a couple of colors here, and I'm just going to, I do have a spray bottle with water there. And as you can hear, this one rattles rather nicely. I'm wearing a glove today because I just injured myself while I was cutting potatoes yesterday. I just cut in my thumb, so I don't want any ink or things like that in there. This one is rather easy to actually get out just small bits with ink, and of course I could pick out some bigger ones as well if I want to. And I'm thinking that, well, I'm just going to try something here. What about red and pink? How will that end up looking? I was actually afraid that the nozzle would be too big on this one, so I was thinking that it's going to be a complete, complete disarray or mishap or something. But let's see, do I want to use some blue perhaps? I'm not sure if I should take the water already. Of course I should, otherwise I won't be getting a spread. And I'm just going to swipe it across these like this and sort of pick it up from where it is right now. And what I get is, I mean, the colors aren't too muddled up, I must say. They sort of stay true to their nature and their color. So that was interesting actually. I was thinking that they would be easier to blend together. And I'm thinking that I'll be able, if I'm going to go with, let's say, yeah, I could actually start with some, you know what, let's do it like this. Since I do know that when these inks dry, you can actually add on inks on top of each other. This one is supposed to be yellow. It did have something dark. This one is rather thick, so this one seems a little bit clogged up, and I think that is the reason why it's having a difficult time shaking as well. And as you can see, it's rather dirty up there, so it isn't completely yellow. But never mind, I'll just go ahead and spray some water just to see what I can get up with it, and I'm just going to push it down so I can get what I get. So there we have it. And the paper it isn't a watercoloring paper or something. It's just paper that is actually sucking up rather well the inks that I have lying here. And I think that I ought to get my heat guns. I'm sorry about this. I mean, I might be having to run, I might have to run back and forth a couple of times here because I haven't prepared this video that much. I just wanted to get my head spinning when it comes to crafting, because sometimes when I've had a pause, I do need to get myself started with something, and sometimes the things that I do aren't that good, but I still need to get myself going, if you know what I mean. So I do have the fossilized amber here. That's the color. It's the first yellow color of those Distress Oxide inks, and I'm hoping actually that they'll be coming up with more of these inks, because I like the way they work, especially when I'm brushing on some ink from an ink pad through a stencil to a paper. I really like that. Well, let's see. Now I'm here, and I don't think that I need to dry it completely dry. I mean, it's a little bit moist still. And I was thinking that, what if I were to add on something blue now? Let's go for the Broken China. Oh, actually, I'll go for the Faded Jeans. This one also seems a little bit thick. So there's something there. So, oopsie, my goodness, that one really was generous. So you will need to squeeze out quite a bit if one wants a lot of it, and then you can sort of modify the amount of ink you're getting. So let's see if I'm going to just dot it and tap it like this, just to see. I mean, this one covers things perhaps a little bit too much, so I'm going to go for another piece of paper and perhaps even more water. And the thing with Distress Oxide inks, that they have this oxidizing process. They are going to get sort of cloudy in their outlook. In contact, when the ink comes in contact with water, they will get a cloudy effect, an oxidized effect. So there you can see it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter just by looking at it. So it's a rather fun thing to watch. And I think I'll just add in some blue on this one as well. I mean, this one is still wet. I'm hoping I'll be able to get a nice effect with that. And that was rather funky, I must say. Sort of a galaxy looking thing had it been white. So I'm going to take a piece of paper, magazine or something. Just because I have this plastic bake board or baking surface here, I don't want to destroy it with plastic, with the heat, so I'm just going to add something underneath that Teflon sheet, or what you could call it. I mean, it's a baking sheet really. I'm looking for the word, aren't I? I'm seeing something really interesting now. I used the yellow one first, and then I just picked up the blue. And you can see that the blue has gone under the yellow. And that is rather fascinating, I think, because otherwise I'm used to a darker color going on top of the lighter one, but in this case it actually went underneath. That was really interesting. So let's see, I think I'll just continue using something else here. I think I'll go for the pink, because I'm thinking that it's going to marry rather well with the blue one. And there you can see there's something going on there. The color mixes, the leftover ink is mixing with this one. And in this case it's just a big puddle there. So I'm not sure what to do with it. Just trying to pick it up a little by little, here and there. And just making it drop like that. I'm not sure if I need any pink here, but I could still just try to see what could happen. I don't want to waste this ink now, you see, so I'm just trying to create some kind of a piece of art here. And you can see that I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but this one is still pink, but that one has turned sort of a lavender color. So I'm just going to put it there. And it should be interesting to see how these inks react with the blue. Now the blue, of course, is underneath, so it should be underneath if everything's going to be as I plan. So I think it's rather funky that you can actually add on a paler color on top of a darker one. So that's what I'm aiming at here. So as you can see, the pink is on top of the blue. So just look at the light pink there, on top of all the colors, even the blue. So they are easy to build up layers upon layers with. So I'm thinking now, what could it be like if I were to use brown at the bottom? I'm just going to make this one a little bit flatter. For goodness sake, I just cleaned the surface here, didn't I? Yeah, you see, I had something underneath here. That must have been it. I'm just saying. Well, let's see. I do have the walnut stain, but I do also have the vintage photo. And what would it be like if I were to... You know, I just came to think of something. I'm going to try this one out. I'm going to add the ink on top of the paper ink directly. And I'm going to spray some water on top. And just to create sort of a runny effect, if I can. And the leftover ink, of course, I could take later. Let's see if I can make it work. I mean, it's rather flexible, so you can actually manipulate it a little. So there I have that one. I'm just going to put that one there. And you see, it looks like it's going to dry rather quickly, just by looking at it. But then the paper itself, it's going to stay wet for longer. So I'm thinking yellow could be nice here. I'm just going to print it like this. Interesting. I do have a lot of yellow on that one, so I'm actually going to go for another piece of paper here. And I see that the drippage actually went rather far out here, and luckily enough I do have this baking surface out of plastic that it's easy, clean process for that. Let's see, now it isn't really dry yet. What would it be like if I were to actually add on something else? I'm going to go for some pink, just to create something new for me here. and let them blend while they are still wet. And I'm just going to shake it and leave it as it is. Perhaps I could dry a little. And the fun thing is that in comparison to, if I'm not going to add any water to this, let's see, so there's quite a difference between the undiluted and the diluted Distress Oxide in refill. So you can see the difference there in intensity. And it's fun to actually let them blend on top of each other, but they are not blending, as you see. They lay on top of each other. So, what else could be nice? I do have the peel paint. This used to be one of my favorite colors. Let's see if I can renew my love for it. And I think I'll just spray a little like this, and just to see where it's going to end up. And since it is wet there, it's going to get runny a little. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking perhaps orange could be something, because orange definitely used to be one of my favorite colors. Nowadays I'm actually more into this peel paint green. But when it comes to clothes and home decor, curtains and stuff, pillows and such stuff. But when it comes to making projects, I do like to use orange. Sometimes even pink, even though I'm not a pink person. Will it be bold enough to break this up? Let's see. It's all about the color combos. So I have used the pink and the yellow and the green. I'm just going to put them there, so I'm not going to use another once more by mistake. I'm just going to let them go there, and in this case the green and the orange, or the spiced marmalade, they blended a little, and I'm thinking that blue on top could be nice. So it's going to go. I'm going to go for the broken china. And perhaps I could go for some iced spruce at the bottom later on. So, Distress Oxide, I'm sorry, broken china. And while I'm at it, I might actually take the green, greyish hue iced spruce. Even if I'm well, see, there it came. And the thing is, this one is going to cover it up too much, I think. It sort of looks like pumice stone, but it isn't. It's really greyish, isn't it? But the thing is, if I'm not happy with it, I could actually just dry it up and add on something else. So these are sort of opaque colours, and they do not mix and blend that well. They lay on top of each other. That's something I have concluded here. So let's see if I can pick up the grey, and I'm thinking that it might be better off on this one. So just pick it up like this. So this is going to be a rather faint looking in the end, and it might do me a good thing actually if I'm going to make a card out of this one. So let's see where I'll end up with this. You know, sometimes, I mean, I started out with this one thinking, I mean, this was going to be the main focus piece, but I think this is the third one I've started on or something. So sometimes, I mean, you shouldn't just quit, continue, and especially with these Distress Oxide inks, you can continue. Had it been other sorts of inks, they would have been modeled up and become brownish. But in this case you actually can see the colors. I'm sort of missing orange or something bright in the corners. So I think I'll perhaps dare to go there with this orange and just put it there and there. And I'm thinking perhaps I could even just pick it up like that. Silly me, I could have just taken it onto paper already from the get-go, but let's do it like this. And let's do a little bit of spraying. Well, of course, I didn't think about this properly. It's going to get too much. Well, I could just continue. And I do have orange there, but I could actually put it here. Pick it up like that. I could actually leave the spots like they are. And they are going to fade into the background, as you see. So no harm done so far. I wish they would have had the Distress Oxide in white and even the black soot. I'm really missing those. I would have loved to get them. And what else? I mean, there are many things. I do like the mustard seed. So this is really interesting in my book. I mean, I really like this. There's really no way to tell how it's going to end up beforehand. You just have to practice and mix your own colors and just try in between. So let's see, I do have some brown here. I'm a little bit afraid of actually using the brown here, but since I do know that it's going to ink up things, but you know, I'm just going to go for the thing that I thought of first. I'm going to start with brown and just see if I can build up the layers with some lighter inks as I go along. So I'm just going to go for another piece of paper, and I do think that the picking up with the from this is a really nice way to go about it, because then I can get the splotches to go a little bit more smaller but wider instead of having just a one big blob in the center. Just came to think of it, I could actually go for a water bottle thingy instead if I'm going to get, if I want some. Well, the spray is rather hard there. Just going to put it there. So now this one is brown, definitely. It's a really nice looking brown, just look at that. Just mahogany-like, really wonderful. And what could I do with this? Should I just pick up here and there? Could actually. And since I'm hoping I'll be able to go for a sort of a galaxy theme later on, I'm daring to go there with the brown on this one as well. So I could actually leave these to dry for a little bit. And could I do something else? What could I do? Just come to think of something. I mean, it's the same process all together, but what if I were to do it like this then instead? Let it run like that. And I think that I'll use the yellow one on with that one later. And if I'm going to go for the broken china there, and so I have to have the broken china, that one's ready, and I think the orange would be lovely against it. I was hoping I would be able to rescue it from, or stop it from running too much. So I think I had better stop it. Just look at this brown, all the different shades. So I have the yellow one here. Interesting. It went onto the blue one. So actually I think I'll go for the wilted violet. I think that is going to be rather nice. It's sort of clogged up. I'm just afraid that it's going to pop and just go all over the surface here. So where are you going to go? There. And I'm not sure what to make out of these yet, or this one. I just have to let that one work it out for itself. Play with colours anyway. So let's see, this one seems to have dried up a little, so let's see, what colour could I go for first? I think I'll just add some water in the meanwhile to think about what colour to go with the brown. I'm thinking pink could be nice, but on the other hand, pink is perhaps too light at this stage, so perhaps I should go for the turquoisey thing. Broken china, that is. And now you see I got even more water there by accident, and it's still reacting even though it has gotten quite a bit of water already. So I think I'll just go for some blue on top of this one directly. Just blotch them there, and I think I'll just spray on top. Oh yeah, this is good. I always seem to forget about myself, so I'm just going to let them drip downwards like that. And one might think that it's going to turn green. Let's see if it does. But you see, it actually stays true to its colour. Really funky, even in the camera, I see. Really funky. So I had the pink one, the worn lipstick, in my mind all the time, and I thought about this brown mixture. And if I'm going to do some dipping, I do need to get this blob dried up. So I'm just going to take away the excess water here. So the next step is to go for some pink, and I'm going to pick it up from this surface here. So I think I'll just go for some dots like so. So I could have just some areas to pick it up from. There we go. I did want them to separate actually. So a small pick it up. There, 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 and perhaps in the center as well, just to see how they will mix. And I'll just put that one there for a second, and I'm going to go for the pink here because I do love how it's blended into this galaxy background. I really like how it pops up from there. So more pink. Well, I could go for it in the corners, I suppose. And I do like how it just gets onto the paper without smudging or smearing anymore. It just goes on there in its shape as I can find it on this craft mat. So this is a pinkish one. So let's see if I can dry this one a little. So let's see, what else could I use? What kind of a color should I go for? I'm thinking about the fossilized amber. That's the way I like it. And that's how I want it to react and go into the paper, just to fill up the corners and everything. So now I'm actually getting somewhere, I feel like. I think I could actually add some more yellow to this one as well. And this one. And why not on this one as well? Just pick up the leftover ink. There we have it. So I'm going to continue with this one. And while I'm drying this, I'm just thinking, would I be able to somehow incorporate this with stars or something? I'm not sure. So perhaps this one is still better, but I would like to get it darker still. And perhaps it will be enough if I just add on some ink. Let's see if I could do that. I could actually just bring out the distress ink just to see how it would work. Perhaps I could actually do it through a stencil. That gave me an idea actually. I could of course just go with some regular black ink as well. I'll just go back and get a couple of stencils and brushes and ink just to see where I'll end up with these. So hang on. So let's see, now I'm coming here with my stencils and my brushes, and I'm thinking I want to find my black brush. Where is it? There it is. So I do have these sort of stencil brushes, sort of similar to those. I found these in a hardware store in Sweden called Jula, and they are called round brushes, rundpensel. And I mean, you use them for painting, woodwork, I mean around windows and such. I'm not sure of the proper name for that kind of brush, but in Swedish it's called rundpensel. And I want this one to be sort of dry because I don't want to smear the ink up from the brush and everything, so especially when it's a little bit thicker there. But you know what, I just forgot about myself. I was going to work with this one, wasn't I? So this one seems fairly dry. So my thought now could be that I could actually start off, it's still wet. I mean, I have been adding on quite a bit of water now, haven't I? So the first thing I'll go for is just take VersaFine ink, and this is pretty moist an ink pad, so it will give me a rather dark black edge. And you know what, of late I have started working with my brushes like this. I mean, usually before I used to have those ink blending tools from Ranger and Tim Holtz and such, but now I'm daring to go in with ink like this. I mean, just in this case, I'm actually going for a blacker look. I want this to feel like a galaxy or something, so it needs to be blacker. Around the edges in a way. I do believe that I need to get my inks as well. I thought I'd bring out my, if I were to just brush on some black here, just to darken it up a little, like so. I'm going to go for the Distress Oxide inks, which I have labelled all around them, so I can just put them in a box, not having to find in which direction is the lid and everything, so it's just there. So now I'm going to go ahead using a template or stencil from Tim Holtz. Let's see what I have here. I do like to work with stencils, and I thought that I could perhaps try to working some yellow, and the colors are the same. So in this case it's going to be the fossilized amber, and I'm just going to pick up the ink from the ink pad like that, and I'm just going to haphazardly paint it in there, sort of trying to line it up, butt it up against the edge of the paper with the stencil frame like that. So let's see how this one is going to look. And I'm going to use a couple of stencils here. You can't see a bloody thing now, can you? So that's something. Lesson learned. Would it be different? Cracked pistachio, that's the colour I'm missing actually from my palette there. What a shame. I mean, I thought that I had ordered that one. By accident, I just ordered a bottle of Distress ink spray instead. So that wasn't really what I was going. So the cracked pistachio is the colour I'm missing. Also a lesson learned. So I thought I'd just go in with that one instead. And I'm thinking that it's going to show a little bit better than with the yellow and orange. It isn't showing now, is it? I was thinking it would actually. So perhaps the stencil is wrong, or I'm not sure. let's see if I could go for these circles instead. I'm going to stay within the same color here. And I'm thinking of just placing it alongside like so. And I'm going to add them on like that. And you know, just came to think of something. Now at least I can see something green there. There's a circle there and there and there. So that is a better stencil to go with. But the magic is when you're hitting this with water, then the oxidization process gets started. So let's see what happens around here. It's going to get lighter. So I'm thinking perhaps the same thing goes with the other stencils, or am I going to just re-wet the underlying colors? There wasn't that much of a hooray from me this time, so that is something that I just discovered, that I shouldn't really go for that method on top of a dark surface. But still, it's rather nice. I do like the outlook of this one, so perhaps I'll come back with another video making a card out of this. So just, I hope you're content with the fact that I just played around with these different Distress Oxide ink, refill inks, and just had myself some fun creating backgrounds. Bye bye.